Greetings, wrestling fans. I want to wish everyone a safe and happy holiday season the next week or so. We are all a small, tight-knit community that is listening to this podcast. So I'm sure that everyone listening is now already aware that on December 18th, we got the news that we tragically lost Mark Wolf. Mark didn't have much family left. I'm very thankful that his half-brother Joshua knew about my podcast and the fact that I had just had Mark on as a guest. So he reached out to me and let me know the news, as he didn't know any other way to contact the wrestling community to let us know. I want to extend my heartfelt condolences to Josh, to Mark's friends that I didn't know, or at least not well, that reached out to me after I put out the news, Adam and Ben, and to his closest friends in the wrestling business, Chris and Harry. We all loved Marky very much, and this is a tragedy that will be very difficult for us to overcome. I will forever cherish the episode of this podcast that I was able to record with Mark. The podcast itself was 2.5 hours long, and I greatly appreciate each and every one of you that has reached out, even before his passing, to tell me how much you enjoyed that episode and how happy we sounded reminiscing about the good old days. Including the chatting before and after the recording of the podcast, Mark and I spent almost 4 hours that night on the phone talking to each other. And I will always fondly remember that night. When I told Mark that Mitch Page was waiting until episode 13 to come onto the show because that was his favorite number, Mark quickly called dibs on episode number 22 to come back and for us to finish, in his words, actually talk wrestling. Nick Manawa and I are kicking around a few ideas, and I know that it is about 3 months away with where we are episode-wise right now, but episode 22 will be dedicated to Mark in some form or fashion. We just have to figure out how best to do it and how best to involve everyone that we want to make sure is involved. So please stay tuned for more details as Manawa and I iron them out. With that being said, last week and this week's episodes were recorded very early due to the holiday schedules everyone had. So last week's podcast episode with Tarek and this one with Mickie were recorded before we got the news that Mark Wolf had passed away, even though they were released after the fact. So please do not think that we didn't care or that we were trying to ignore it. If you listen and wonder why nothing was done to honor Mark on those episodes, Tarek and Mickie were both very shaken by the news when I told them. We all love you, Marky, and we will carry you in our hearts each and every day going forward. We will never forget you. Rest in peace, Marky. Kick Mitch Ryder's ass in the afterlife for me. Greetings, wrestling fans, and welcome to episode 11 of Fannin's Flashbacks. It's the podcast nobody asked for, but I decided to give it to you anyway. These are tales from my time in IWA Mid-South from 1997 to 2009, and I am joined today by the one that got away, the woman that stole my heart and the missing piece to the Fannin family that would have guaranteed me victory in war games, and we could have ruled IWA Mid-South as a wrestling power couple to rival the strength of Triple H and Stephanie. It's Mickie Knuckles. Mickie, how are you doing tonight?
Oh my God. I missed you, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been trying to get you on here for the longest time. You probably should have been like episode 1, but I started this while you were overseas and kicking ass in England and Australia. And then it's just been a lot of back and forth since then, me driving you insane with how about now? What about now? Is now better than before? How about now? And now that I've got you on here, I hope you cleared your calendar for the rest of the week, because we're gonna go all night with this one.
Oh, dear God. All right.
Okay, so I told you before we started recording, a lot of this stuff is going to be very touchy material. It could be very emotional for the both of us. You just tell me when to move on if there's a subject that comes up that you don't want to talk about. You've got your book that's available for purchase on Amazon. You've pretty much went in depth into, as you told me, the bad that happened, which explains, you little smartasses online, why my name was only mentioned one time in the book outside of the foreword that I've written, because I'm in her good times, not her bad times. So you people that wanted to give me grief on it, I'm in the follow-up book. How about that? But you covered the incredibly hard childhood that you had in your book. Generally, I start the podcast with when we're kids, how did you get to love wrestling? We can just focus. You tell the story so well in the book. Any Mickie Knuckle fans out there, you should buy the damn book. You should already have this book. You should already know the story of her childhood. I will let Mickie talk about it, what she wants of that part. But if you just want to focus on what got you to be a wrestling fan.
We had a ton of chores, and because I was the tomboy of the family, most of my chores were outdoors, dealing with the animals or the yard work or anything like that. And if we did all our chores that week, on the weekend, we get to watch one television program. And I always chose wrestling on Sunday mornings. Sunday morning, I'd wake up, make sure I was ready. My mom would leave the house and go and do like yard selling or antique it or something. She hated wrestling, so she was gone. And that's how I originally started to like wrestling and really enjoy it. To me, the storylines were just better, and you got to see this guy punch this guy in the face because he did him wrong, and it really helped me kind of escape the daily issues that I was going through at the time. And then you fast forward to my sister started dating a guy that was training in OVW, and he had gotten tickets to go to the Louisville Gardens to watch wrestling live. And the first match that I got to watch, because we were late getting there, it was Miss Texas versus Downtown Bruno, and she beat the fuck out of him, like just beat him senseless. I remember watching that thinking, that's what I want to do. That's who I want to be. I want to be like her, you know. So it's really what got me into it in the first start.
Okay, and that was the Memphis territory, Jerry Lawler stuff that you were watching then, and
yeah,
and
the Andersons and all.
As soon as you saw Miss Texas, you knew that this was what I mean. With your name, you were born into this. There was no other profession for you to get into.
This or the mafia.
yeah. Either the mafia or professional wrestling. That's the only two professions that a Mickie Knuckles can get into. So we're gonna jump ahead to you doing the ring rentals in Charlestown, and so I imagine you said it was your sister's boyfriend, whatever, that was training at OVW.
Uh-huh.
And so I met, was he the one that knew IWA before you did, or you?
No, they broke up. Like that was when I was like 8, 9 years old. They
Oh,
broke up well before this happened. It was my ex brother-in-law. He would go to wrestling shows at the Kmart building. So I went to a couple of those with him. But it really happened in the Charlestown building. That's where I started going regularly because that it was right next to where I lived as a kid. I lived in Otisco, out in the boondocks. The closest town to us was Charlestown, Indiana, and there was nothing else around there. So that was a fucking great idea. You have a bunch of redneck hillbillies have nothing else to do throughout any fuck, and you got heating. It was kind of hot in there in the summer, but you had heating at least somewhat. I don't know, the big kerosene things that almost burnt your fucking legs off.
right.
Because you forget they were there and you're trying to get past and it's packed. Um, but yeah, it was her ex my ex brother-in-law, her ex-husband. His name is Dusty. He would go to the shows and I would beg him to drag me along.
Okay, so that's the one that I knew was Dusty.
That's cornbread.
Yes, yes, cornbread,
He
and
had a backyard wrestling group, and
uh,
his name in wrestling was Cornbread.
cornbread, and so I just assumed that it was he was the one training it, and I was like, I can't picture Dusty
No,
training at OVW, but
not at all.
so 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 you're it was two different guys, so that
Yeah,
that makes more sense to me because
there you go.
I was trying to I could not wrap my head around, you know, because I saw him in the backyard, and nothing against him, you know. He
Just
got out there and he
just
tried.
didn't look. Yeah,
But
he got
I
stuck in
couldn't
the
have seen
bleachers.
him. I couldn't have seen him, you know, training with Danny Davis. I just I could not have seen that in my mind. So I'm glad that I now have clarity on that. Two different people.
I'm happy to
At,
help you with that after all these years.
after all these damn years, you know,
You've been in the dark
um,
this whole time.
right? And craziness. So, but that is where we met. Was I would be the one that would usually be responsible for having to go and open the building on a Sunday morning after the show and
Yep.
watch, well, not watch, because I would just stay in the office and, you know, do
In
anything
the air
else
conditioned office.
in the
Yep.
air conditioned office while you guys did your stuff.
Hmm.
Because it was not the best.
That's it.
Um, but you know,
It was
every
fun though.
it was, I'm sure it was fun, but I could tell that you had talent.
Oh,
Um, you know, little misfortune. Um,
why did we change my name?
but that was a great, you know, that was a great name for
There's another one now
better than
coming after
fucking
that.
cornbread. But
Yeah,
you know,
but do you know there's somebody else coming after that name now?
I had no idea.
I think she's an Australian wrestler, but her name is
Uh,
Miss Fortune.
okay,
Yeah, I was like, good for you.
well, you know, you had it 20, 23
I'm just
years
giving her
ago.
some credit. Yeah,
23 years ago, you were misfortune, so you did it first. You're like the Simpsons in
I'm
that way,
old.
I guess.
Yeah, I got it.
Um, but you know, I was incredibly honored when you had reached out to me to write the foreword to your book.
I
Um,
appreciate you doing that.
and so I had told the story in the book when I wrote the foreword of, you know, the ring rentals in the at the old Blue Barn and getting to meet you and watching you and seeing that, you know, you were the one that had talent out of the entire group, and could potentially do it for a living. And you know, your guys your guys' group actually has the distinction of being the last people to perform in the old Blue Barn
Hmm.
because Ian wanted one more payday, and so he let you guys rent the ring after Corporal and everybody had tore the house down the night before, and you know, broke all the drywall and tore the place apart.
Yep.
You guys got to go in there that next morning and be the last things to perform in the old Blue Barn, and I will
Yeah.
always, and I bring it up to you and drive you crazy with it. every time that we talk, but to the day I die, I will never forget right before you left the building for the last time, you came up to me and asked, "How are we ever going to have our affair now that the building's closed?" And I'm like, "What? What?" And and it floored me. But what other memories other than that do you have from like those ring rentals, and maybe in particular that last one that happened in the old blue barn with the piss bucket?
That piss bucket was so gross. Ugh. For those of you who don't know what he's talking about, piss bucket was this great fucking idea that they had to put in the locker rooms because Ian didn't want anybody leaving the locker rooms at the time. And so
Well,
they put piss
there
bucket.
was only one bathroom in the entire building, and
Oh, yeah.
he wanted it to be for the fans, and not to have the guys just out in the crowd in the
Yeah.
bathroom the whole time during the show. So as
They
CM
put a
Punk
bucket in the
referred to
corner.
it, it was the community piss bucket that everybody would share.
And the
Um,
lowest person on the totem pole had to clean it.
yeah,
That was me. All the time. It was gross. Some people need to get hydrated. Like, you be questioning some people's life choices staring into that bucket of fucking piss and God knows what the fuck else. There'd be condoms in there. There'd be fucking food in there. There'd be like bomb. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? This is gross. I have to clean this. Why? Why would y'all do this? They didn't care. Because they're disgusting.
very,
Oh
very
my God.
disgusting. Very
Yeah, I get
disgusting.
it. When you gotta go, I guess.
Yeah, but do you have any, other than trying to set up an affair with me? Do you have any memories of that time?
There was one time I asked you if you were gonna come out there and watch, and you said, "Why would I do that?" and I think I just stared at you for a comfortably long time, like I couldn't compute. I was like, "What? What? Oh yeah, we're terrible. Oh shit." But yeah, we were just there having fun. Um, hey, at least we didn't do what some of these backyard groups do, and they sell tickets and big flyers.
Yeah,
We didn't do that. We just did it for our own amusement.
right.
But yeah.
Very true. Very true. Um, so how did you get from, I mean, you had seen the piss bucket and had to clean it and empty it. What made you decide that you wanted to train and get involved in this? And how did that offer even come to be?
I had a scholarship to study, like it was a partial scholarship to go to Europe and study opera, classical music. And I didn't have the money to fulfill the rest of that because my mom died when I was younger. My dad was in jail for child abuse and neglect. And we lived with my sister, and we were wards of the state, and the state was fighting. And so on one of the last days, I had talked to Hattie, Ian's wife, and I told her that I wanted to do this. And she said, "Well, have you ever thought about training?" And I was like, "Yeah, but I don't know who would train me. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do." And she's like, "Well, you should come train with IWA." And then she talked to Ian, and Ian said that he just looked at me and he scoffed and he said, "Ain't no bitch ever graduated from my school and it's not about to start." And I was like, "Ah, okay." And I was like, "Okay." He's like, "But if you can make it through and keep showing up, I'll train you." And the first day that I trained, they made me do so many leg exercises. I drove a stick shift car. I had to use a stick that I found in a nearby bush to push on the clutch to change gears because I couldn't get my leg to move. My legs were gone, but I kept coming back. I only missed one training class, and I asked permission because I didn't have my tags need to be renewed. And I didn't want to get pulled over with the fucking expired tags. And this one person wanted me to take her to a Heart concert where basically all of her and her lesbian friends wanted to go, and that she would pay for me to get my tags renewed if I took her to this concert. And so it happened to be on training day, and I asked him if I could not like make it that day and told him why. And then of course I had to do 500 Hindu squats for missing that day of training. But yeah, that's the only day I missed.
And do you want to talk about chop class or?
God. That was rough. That was yeah. So remember it was August, and the building was that Colgate building, and there's no air conditioning Colgate building. And even if you have the garage doors open in August in southern Indiana, the humidity and the heat is fucking exhausting. And they decided to announce that they were going to do shop class at the end of a class the next time. So everybody that was coming decided that was the day they were not going to come. I was the only one that showed up.
Well, that was the cue to not show, chop class.
Yeah, well,
That's
I
the
didn't get the icky, okay? I showed up like a dumbass, and they spent most of the time running a gauntlet where like Hero would get in there and fold me up like pretzels and put me in different things and I have to fight out of it and stuff. Or then Mark Wolf would get in there and want to run, fucking spots and moves and drills and stuff. And then when he got tired, he got to tag out and, everybody got to, take until they got tired. And then Mitch was the one that said, hey, I got to get ready to go for work. If we're going to do this, I got to do this now. Right. And that meant chop class. And my deal with the chop class is I had to wear just a sports bra and I had to stand in the corner and put my arms over the top rope and grab the second rope and hold on. And if I let go, they were going to start over again. Problem is, I'm a short fucking little person. Okay. The top rope, first off, it's not even just that. IWA ropes were notoriously high. I don't care who you are. Like they would come up to here on me on the fucking corner. So trying to stand on my tiptoes to reach across and grab this second rope, which I'm barely fucking touching and trying to hold on to, halfway through, I had to tell them, look, I don't want to let go, but my feet were dangling. I couldn't do it. And I was like, but I'm gonna let go. So they let me hold my shorts out. I had to hold my shorts as far out as possible to show that I was holding my shorts out while they chopped me. And they took turns. It was five chops on each side. And by the end of it, I was black and purple from here to here. And I remember not being able to put on my shirt and saying, fuck it. But I was so hungry because I had been on a diet because Ian said I needed to lose weight. And and I was like, fuck, I went to Wendy's and got like a grilled chicken salad with the extra piece of chicken, as like a good treat or something. But I remember walking in because the line was so long, not even thinking about it. And the guy was just staring at the big black and purple bruise on my chest, just fucking staring. And I went off on him and cut a promo. I was like, why are you staring at me? This is a medical condition. Like, just fucking nail it to him, right? And he's like, I'm supposed to, well, they gave me my food for free. And I walked away. I was like, so I survived chop class and I worked somebody. Yes. Like, I officially succeeded in becoming a wrestler.
Yeah, they beat the dog shit out of you and with those chops. And if anybody, just to have an idea, I know people got outraged when Cash Flow wrestled Trick Davis and chopped the shit out of him. And Trick was like 5 shades of purple.
What Trick is so white though.
And like, so the people that saw those pictures and got mad about what happened to Trick Davis times that by 10, and that was what Mickie, what your chest looked like after they were done. And
Trick only got it worse because he got a couple in the back. I remember those. Because I was like, oh dear God, no. Hands to the nose. I'd kick your ass. I'd fight you. I'd bite your dick off. I don't care. You're not hitting me in the back.
so while you're training, as the rite of passage was in IWA, especially at that time, the trainees would referee. So
I was so bad.
Harry Palmer started as a referee. Mark Wolf
Yeah.
started as a referee.
JC.
You started as a referee. Do you feel that was important for getting you ready as a wrestler to just to be able to be in the ring and watch the guys and see how they did things being that extra person in the ring? Or do you think it was just cheap free labor for Ian to use to not have to pay a ref? I mean,
it could be both. It could be two things at once. Both could be true.
Yeah.
I honestly, but to think about it though, man, I learned a lot being a ref. I wasn't a very good ref, and because a lot of times I'd be so enamored by what I was watching, I'd forget to do my job. And they'd be like, Mickie, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, my bad. Get right back into it. But I was like a kid or a fan watching because I still am very much a fan of wrestling. Um, but I learned a lot, especially being in the ring with like people like Hero and Punk and Wolf and Bull Payne and Tracy Smothers, like fucking amazing, amazing fucking talent. And seeing like how they work and how they adapt and their thought process or their body movements and everything else, it really helped me figure out how I wanted to present myself. So
So it helped you, and it was free labor
yes,
on the show. So it was two things at once.
yes.
Very good, very good.
And I still got yelled at for doing a bad job at free labor.
Well, you get what you pay for,
Yep,
so
yep.
there should have been no complaints. Um,
I'm a
one of
kid.
the one of the very first angles that you were involved in, we had the heel locker room
Ugh.
at the Clarksville building, and like most nights, it would just be me and Mitch Page
Yeah.
hanging out in the because we were the only
This
heels on
whole
the
locker
show.
room to yourself.
We
Yeah.
had the whole locker room to ourselves.
Because the
Um,
referees even stayed over in the babyface locker room.
yeah, and you know, every once in a while, the bad motherfuckers would be in the heel dressing room with us. Um, was it Bull versus Ian? Is that how the 30-day stipulation came?
Yeah.
So Bull Payne wins you
For 30
for
days.
30 days as his valet,
Yeah.
and let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, watching this, Mickie dressed as Bull Payne's valet. Wild thing, you make my heart sing.
Oh my god, I hated it so bad. I hated it
Oh,
so bad. They teased my hair. It took me 3 days to get it so unmatted. Like that's how bad they teased. They made my name Anita Lay. That's what that bull name renamed me as. I was now officially for his valet time, Anita Lay. Fucking hated it. He's like, this is what you gotta do, kid. And like they because remember the other girl that was in the locker room. What was her name? The other manager, what I don't know.
I can't
But she would
remember.
like she'd put like fucking thick ass makeup on me. It just felt like my face was melting down. I was like, I hate you all so bad right now. Because I'm not I when I was growing up, I never got into makeup and stuff. My mom died when I was 13, so normally your mom's supposed to teach you about shit like that. And I was a tomboy. I didn't fucking care. I got dirty all the time. Why would I want to make up? And then I come to realize, from a production standpoint, from a camera standpoint, that if you don't wear makeup, especially as pale as I can get sometimes, you can't differentiate like the eyes and the facial expressions and everything else. Like, because I'm white as hell. I get it. I can't tan. If you remember correctly, I'll burn and I'll go right back to white. But yeah,
So you're Bull's valet. You're hanging out in the heel locker room with us. And I want the record to show that I participated in none of this. None of this. But I do vividly recall the night that um, Bull Payne was wearing nothing but a towel,
yes.
and he saw a young Anita Lay's hairbrush um, in her gear bag, and he used his butt cheeks to hold this brush, and then he like let his towel drop and turned around so everybody could see his ass cheeks holding the brush.
Mhm.
And you know, did you ever use that hairbrush again?
No, no, he made sure to hold it there until I could see it was his. I was like, it's your brush now. You have fun with that. You now have a brush for your beard or your ass. Definitely not your head, but yeah. So I didn't want that motherfucker back. I was like, I don't want it back. You're good. I'll buy another one. It's fine. It's $1.29 at Dollar General, so it's fine.
Do you remember any other ribs that they were playing on you at this point? Because I imagine that there was a few others
There was a
that were
lot.
getting set.
Remember when I used to stay at the building, so there was a mattress in the building. You remember that? We put it up against the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was homeless for a bit, and I would stay at the building. And I remember they took my mattress and threw it in the dumpster. Yeah, it was gross. I was like, damn, what the fuck did I do? Uh,
Again, I
remember the shoes that got
participated
glued to
in
the
none of
ceiling?
this.
There were shoes that got glued to the ceiling. There was a
That
lot of
that was a huge go to in the IWA locker
yeah.
room. The
You have
gluing
your yeah.
gluing boots and shoes to the ceiling was a biggie.
And
Um,
I'm short as hell. I'm like, nope. I don't even know. I don't even, they're gone now. Fuck it. Remember the fish oil one somebody did?
no,
That wasn't to me though. Punk did it to somebody, but he put fish oil in somebody's gear bag. It was either Ace to Punk or Punk to Ace. It was like one of those two. Remember when they were having that issue? Like they would butt heads a lot.
okay, yeah, I did not spend a whole hell of a lot of time in the locker room, and
No, because when you did, like people, you would get in arguments with some people, like New Jack.
well, that's bound to
No,
happen. It's
no,
bound to
no, no,
happen.
no,
It's bound to
no, no,
happen.
no. You straight up gangster looked at him and he started fucking threatening you and he said he was gonna go get his gun and you said you think they stopped making guns when they made yours? And I was like, oh God.
Well, I was not, New Jack would have been able to whoop my ass 7 ways to Sunday. That's fine. But, I was not going to let anybody like intimidate me in that locker room, and
No, you didn't.
especially on a show that, Ian was California, Milwaukee, he was somewhere. I can't
Yeah.
remember where. And I'm running the show and I'm not, because if I let one person do it, no matter how scary and threatening the guy is, if I let one do it, then I'm going to lose the entire dressing room. So no. And Tracy calmed it down. New
That's
Jack,
funny though. That's
new,
just like him and that other the short dog story is his favorite always to tell about you.
atomic dog.
Atomic dog, that's what it was. Atomic
Yeah,
dog.
yeah.
He told that story so many times, but every time it was like he was telling it first time. So funny. He's like, I never seen nothing like it before. Fannin was ready to whoop his ass.
Well, said I wasn't going to let anybody punk me in the damn dressing room. I ran
Yeah,
shit
right.
and I ruled it with an iron fist. And
Oh, I know. I saw. I was like,
you
oh
know,
shit, you mad? We're gonna walk away. It's plausible deniability.
and so let's talk about the 2003 King of the Death matches where you finally get to make your debut. Everybody knows it for the sickening bump that you end up taking. But just what are your memories, if you can even remember anything after getting dumped on your head? Um, I'm
Actually got
sure
knocked
you.
out earlier than that. I don't. I remember up into the point of she gave me a forearm. It would end up being a forearm shiver right here, and it dislocated my nose and tore that piece of skin there and knocked me clean out. So from that point on, I was muscle memory. I was on autopilot. I don't fucking remember shit. I don't remember being dropped on my head. I don't remember being in a lock. I remember the last thing I remember is the shiver. The first thing I remember after that is I'm sitting up in a chair and I'm staring straight ahead and I make eye contact with Corporal and I said, "Did the match already happen?" And he said, "Oh my God, Mickie, stop asking that." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "It already happened, okay?" And I was like, "Oh, was it okay?" He's like, "I swear to God, just shut up. Just stop talking. You've asked that like 20 times now." I was like, "Bro, I'm sorry. I don't remember. My bad." And then I remember 2 matches later going out there and roughing for King of the Death, roughing death matches.
Well, just remember, it was a great learning experience for you, and it was cheap labor.
I mean, I was on autopilot. I was really proud of myself though that I could be on autopilot and still kind of proceed. Yeah,
Well, and
but not
especially
how
with
I
it
wanted my
being your
first match to go.
well, yeah, with it being your first match, and you still were at least able to autopilot through it. So, Um, you know, there was Suicide Kid had done something similar in the Blue Barn in Charlestown, where he was practicing a dive out of the rafters for a tables match before the show, and he hit his head on the table. And at least 50 times he asked people afterward, like, why does my head hurt? And it was like Corporal again going, God damn it, Jake, if you don't stop asking me what the fuck happened. We've already explained this to you 20 and shit, we didn't know anything about concussions back then, and it's not a laughing matter now. Probably it shouldn't have been a laughing matter then, but there was a lot of guys that would have to go out there and perform not in the right frame of mind after taking some of those crazy ass bumps.
Yeah.
Your third match that you ever did is against Cash Flow, managed by me.
Yeah.
And
How was that for you?
I have it up on my YouTube channel as the first video in the playlist entitled The Wooing of Mickey Knuckles. Now, that match really had nothing to do with the angle, but I wanted it in there just because it really cemented you, I think, in the eyes of the IWA fans, that you had the heart of a champion and that you were someone to be taken very seriously. What are your memories from that match? And
is that the one where he chops me a lot?
Yes, he chops you like you went through chop class again.
Yeah,
in that
yeah,
match.
yeah. Well, because he was told to do that by Ian.
And,
I had made Ian mad that day by putting up the ring late or getting to the building late because we ran into some issue. I don't fucking know. You knew who that was. But that's what I remember is I remember that, and then he was the one that first dislocated this shoulder because he did that overhead press where he jumped straight up. And when I released and I came down, I hit my pelvic bone and my shoulder. So my shoulder dislocated and I had an orgasm. It was like the weirdest feeling in the world. I tell him all that. I tell Cass all the time. He's like, shh, don't tell my wife. But I'm like,
that's quite a 1-2 punch there.
Yeah, it was awkward. It was really awkward.
People, you can go to my YouTube channel and watch this matchup. But Mickie takes a hellacious beating. Cash whips her ass from one side of the building to the other, but she keeps getting up, and like the crowd's telling her to give up. Ian comes out and tells her to give up. I'm on the microphone telling her to give up. Cash is telling her to give up, but you wouldn't. You kept saying no, and you would say shit like, I deserve this. And and you just kept getting back in the ring to do more. And then in the end, you kick him in the dick 3 times and win the damn match.
Yeah.
You don't fight fair, Mickey Knuckles. You don't fight fair.
There's no such thing as a fair fight, Jim Fannin, and you should know that.
Well, still, you cheated. You cheated to get that victory.
The hell I did. It's not my fault. His dangly bits are on the outside. That's his weakness, not mine.
Because of you, we didn't get to go to the pay window that night.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to take that away from you. Sorry, but not sorry.
I see how this is going to be. But after you get started in 2003 and you've gone through these matches, Ian decides to put more of a focus on the women's division towards the end of that year. Ends up giving a lot of power to Dave Prazak in booking the women's division on the shows.
Yep. It was Dave's test trial for Shimmer.
Right. Ian didn't know that at the time. Ian didn't know that at the time, but that's what
because it's something he would have done.
That it was what ended up happening. But how important was it to the women's scene at that time that, you know, you were consistently getting to work Daisy Hayes, Mischief, Rain, Lacey, Mercedes Martinez, Tracy Brooks, and then like Angel Williams, ODB, Sarah Del Rey sprinkled in here and there. Like how important was that run to start your career and get you like where you're at today?
It definitely taught me a lot of it is adaptation. A lot of it of what you learn in training and everything else can only prepare you for so much because things could always go off kilter during a match, right? Somebody gets hurt, something happens, fucking misfire here, something, the rope breaks. How many times has that happened in IWA? The rope just fucking goes and dies on us. And you have to adapt to things, and watching how different people adapted to things and other people, like the different styles and what it's like being, because there is a difference sometimes, or was, between wrestling, let's say, a smaller girl, just like there is with the smaller guy and a bigger guy in a match, as there is with a girl and a guy that's much bigger than me. Like I'm in the in between in that factor. So learning how to be the more dominant, aggressive one because I am the bigger one. I am the the stronger of us too, visually, whatever. Um, and they taught me how to adapt to that. Like it's a lot of fluctuation and what you can do, character building or whatever you want to call it. But I was really spoiled. I mean, those fucking girls were amazing. Minnesota Home Wrecking Crew is still by far my favorite tag team duo I've ever witnessed live. And that's not me being partial or anything, but just their ability to draw emotion and intention from people, whether it's a love-hate situation or not. And then you had Daisy. Daisy was so small, but Daisy was so fucking good. She had like a lucha style mixed in with like I don't know how to explain it, but hers, it was believable for her, and her character was amazing. And she did it like the fucking best on putting storylines together and things like that. And then you have Mischief, who's incredibly athletic, so fucking flexible. So wasn't she like a ballerina? Am I wrong in remembering that?
I
She's a ballerina and she's like a genetic scientist.
Right. I knew she was a scientist. Ballerina,
But
I
she
have
used
no
to be a
idea, but
ballerina and got like something happened with her knee. That's why she wore that big ass knee brace. But
okay.
she was so fucking flexible and fucking athletic and endurant and like getting to be around those type of women that were strong, independent women coming up in this field. Like there was a certain ambush of females. It was like right around the time I started wrestling, I had to go for a period of time where I only wrestled guys because Ian couldn't bring girls down because they were few and far between. And then it was out of nowhere. Now we're getting this plethora of girls. And I think it's like 2006, 2007 era. Am I wrong?
Well, it started the end of 2003 going into 2004. So it was
Okay.
your first year.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first 5, 6 matches, you're all guys because we didn't have any girls.
Hmm.
But then, you know,
And then I'd luck out whenever we would go to other shows. And if somebody didn't come or anything, I'd have my gear with me. I'd be like, oh, I'll do it. And lucked out and got to wrestle. So that was pretty cool.
okay, so we're into 2004
Hmm.
at this point. I break up with my then girlfriend. Well, she breaks up with me. I'm not. Let's not. It wasn't my choice, but so I end up moving back to Morris.
Hmm.
Do you remember the story of driving, helping me get my stuff back to Morris, um, in the
The,
road rage?
the one where you threw the bottle at the truck driver. Yeah, I remember. I'm just driving. We're in a fucking standstill traffic, ass to ass, and he's in front of us. And he's been trying to get over for the longest time, and this truck driver would not let us over at all. He kept like coming, like making sure he was ass to ass, and we just needed to get off this exit. And and Jim gets so mad. He parks the car, and sits up on the window sill, and fucking chucks this bottle of this truck driver. And starts cursing, and I'm in the car behind him, going, oh, we ain't got a gun. We're going to jail. I don't even remember how we got over, but that was like the funniest thing is watching you go off of that car. You're sitting out of the window, on top of the window.
Well, I grew up watching Bo and Luke Duke.
Oh God.
I can I can maneuver
It's so
out
funny
in
though.
and out a window if I had to back
You,
then. I
you were
couldn't
just
do it now.
over it at that point. That's what it was. You were just fucking over it at that point. We had to go to I think somebody had to go to the bathroom. And we had sat in this fucking trap like over an hour and a half just sitting there. And if we could have just got to that fucking shoulder, we could have just got off that exit right there. And nobody would let us over. It was so fucking frustrating. I was like, I will get out and pee on the side of this road. I don't give a fuck. But yeah. We made it, thankfully.
We did. We did. We eventually made it. So I moved back to Morris, but I would come down to Louisville to hang out and you know with the shows and everything, and I end up staying at Ian's when I would do this, where you were staying at as well. Um, and there'd be most days like Ian wouldn't come out of the bedroom until around supper time, if then, and so we'd just be sitting in the house with nothing to do for hours on end. And so we got to where we started hanging out and we'd go to movies, go to stores, go out to eat lunch. Um, and that is when I end up falling madly and hopelessly in love with you.
Oh my God, Jim.
And, you know,
You're
we
the leader.
we were big Star Wars fans, so we
We
ended
were.
up going to the midnight premiere of Revenge of the Sith when it came out. And I remember that was like watching everybody be all dressed up. It was almost like being at a wrestling show because
Mhm.
everybody's in costume and they're fighting with the lightsabers, and they would even have like the expensive lightsabers that like made the noise and
Yep.
everything. Um, and it was like every theater in the movie theater was like showing this movie, and people were just going like they let everybody in like about an hour early, and everybody was just going from theater to theater and seeing which one looked the rowdiest and which one looked the best.
Mhm.
So we had fun doing things like that. We went to see Wicked. It was me, you, Nick Manawa, and his then girlfriend. I rented us a limo and we
Yep.
went to go see Wicked. Um, went to go see Phantom of the Opera in Madison, Wisconsin, together.
That was an amazing experience. Like the chandelier and everything. It was awesome.
So, what were your experience or memories from this time frame when we're just hanging out all the time? Um,
I remember watching The Labyrinth with you and feeling like, what the fuck am I watching? Like, remember?
you didn't watch that with me. That was a Joey movie pick,
No,
and
no.
and
We were
I
all
wanted
together in
nothing to.
your living room, and I literally was like, I don't get it. I don't understand why people like it. I don't like it. I just don't like it.
Well, I didn't like that movie either. That was a Joey pick. That was a
Okay.
Joey pick.
Okay.
That
Well, it
had
was in
nothing.
your house, sir.
Well,
It was in your house, sir. I remember the limo and going to see Wicked. That was fun. I think I cried. Yeah, I probably cried. I think I cried at Wicked. But yeah, but it's just like I'd never seen anything like that live, like a live theater opera thing. Like I wanted to study it, but when we're in a small town, the closest thing we've got to it, I was gross. The closest thing we got to it was like the local plays or something, because Louisville hadn't developed its scene yet. So
but yet Madison, Wisconsin had. But I mean,
yes, good for them.
they did have. I mean, they do have the University of Wisconsin up there. But yeah, that was a fun trip. Um, the next this next part, everybody can go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/sportsfannin, and you can open up the playlist entitled "The Wooing of Mickey Knuckles," because we're now going to talk about the angle that I had the most fun doing. Um, so I would suggest listen to us talk about it, then go watch it afterwards. because this is going to be gritty stuff here. This is going to be great stuff. They're going to want to hear our banter on this, as you cringe at every mention I'm about to make here.
I probably will.
So somewhere around this point, at this point, it was probably early 2005. I can't remember the exact show, but I just decided to go into business for myself and bring the real life crush into the storylines on an IWA show. And you're wrestling somebody, and it's some podunk small show in middle of nowhere, Indiana, some armory or something. And I'm on commentary with Dave Prazak, and I break out the hubba hubba line and announce to the world on commentary, to the tens in attendance and the 20 that bought the DVD or VHS and watched it, that I was in love with you on the commentary team, and that I was going to marry you. I even introduced you to my grandmother when you went and stayed at the
grandma.
house.
She made the best freaking apples. Oh, she'd always make the same breakfast every Sunday.
And when I introduced you to my grandma, I said, "Grandma, this is your future daughter-in-law." And I just started running with it on the shows. It was probably 3-4 shows before Ian even realized that I was running my own angle.
Yeah, he don't pay attention
on the stuff. But we're doing the build towards War Games, and I'm feuding with Ian for control of the company. During the run this had like started in 2003, right around the time of the King of the Death matches when you first got started. And I had turned Axel against him for 1 week. I ended up like getting Steve Stone to turn against him. So I took his tag team partner and got Steve Stone to join the Fannin family. I took his childhood best friend, Mark Wolf, got him to join me. I had turned his longtime friend, Chris Candido, and brought him in and got him to join the Fannin family. So I figured it would be something that we could do where the fans, would hopefully believe that I was just trying to get you to turn against him, to be another mind game in the war. And I'm going to get his trainee to turn against him.
Okay.
And that was what I was like hoping. And if I could actually successfully woo you in the process, win-win for me. But I'm pulling out all the goddamn stops, ladies and gentlemen.
You BJ Whitmer's son to me.
Well, first Joey Eastman on the message board says something about I need to do something called the safety dance. And if I did the safety dance in the ring, that would win your heart. And there was no way that you could say no to me. To this day, I have no idea what the fuck the safety dance is. No clue. Never seen it in my life. No clue.
Yeah.
So instead, I come out and play Tom Jones, and I do the Carlton dance.
Mm-hmm.
The
peacock, got it.
I had a fan, and if I can get this to actually play here. I get a fan to get me, had a Mickie for the Gold t-shirt, so I wear that.
Who offered up this shirt, Mickie for the Gold? Because I've got fans. I've got fans that want to see this happen. Thank you for the shirt, Mickie for the Gold. And if I manage Mickie, that's exactly what's going to happen.
You're never managing Mickie. Yeah.
I buy tag championships. I can take her straight to the title. So where is?
So I don't know if you're able to. Were you able to see that and hear it, Mickie?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got the Mickie for the Gold t-shirt on. I've got flowers. I've got chocolates. I had just done the Carlton dance. Don't want to be flagged on YouTube for using music, so we cut that part out. It's on the actual video if you go watch it, but I didn't want the podcast to get flagged, so we cut that part out. So I call you to the ring, and I needed to apologize to you because I had already called you out to the ring, and that's one of the videos that's on the playlist. And I called you out to the ring and offered my heart to you and said, let's join forces and I'll manage you to the title. And you looked me in the face and said, you could do it on your own and that you did not need me. You said you did not need me, Mickie Knuckles, and that broke my heart. It broke my heart. But I would not take no for an answer.
That's true. You don't. No. Yeah.
So I call you out here and I try again to win you over. And you know, we can watch how this ends. It ends very poorly for me.
Mickie, so I can apologize to her.
She wants nothing to do with you. Oh, here she comes, Mickie Knuckles. Women's division stand out.
Come on up into the ring. I want to apologize to you.
Apologize to me.
I want to apologize to you, you know.
Don't take it back on him.
I am a gentleman. I don't know why you would even try and tell her to watch herself against me here. Now, first, here's some flowers.
That was great camera work. Need to break in here. That was great camera work by Smart Mark Video. That was a great shot of your ass. That was a great shot of your ass. That was damn fine work.
You can't be all serious.
Great work, Smart Mark Video. That was fantastic. Just right there. Just right there. It was fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff.
Oh my God.
But I call you to the ring. And I wanted to apologize. I think I got a little handsy the first time I asked you to manage me, and I kissed your hand, and you about smacked my teeth right out of my mouth. And
Yeah. I've heard of it.
So, you know, I tried to call you out here, and you know,
I turned you down.
apologize, and you're good at doing that. You're very good at doing that to me. So
Yeah. How long have we known each other?
almost 23 years.
You're screen sharing again. What are you saying? Oh.
Yeah, so
Oh. You just gonna show me.
Candies. I concur. You go take the candies trick. Because he got hungry.
I'm fat. I got hungry on the way here.
Yeah. It happened. He's a big guy and he's good with nuts.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, right?
I got hungry on the way here, but chocolates and flowers for you. I wanted to apologize to you because
She's throwing the flowers
people
down.
take this way out of context, and you know, people are back there asking me if there's something between us, and you know, you can do much better in that regard than me. So, what? Wait till a little later after the apology's done, then put ideas into her head. Okay. I wanted to apologize to you, and I still want to manage you and take you to the ladies' title. Because I know the main because of Ian.
What?
Well, I'm turn it off so we can go back to talking here. I don't want you to fall asleep having to relive these nightmares.
Oh my God. Not nightmares.
But you know, who can blame me for getting hungry? I'm fat. So
You're not fat with
I had one of the chocolates.
one.
Three of the chocolates. I had three of the chocolates. So that still
The box is empty, Jim.
it was not empty. There's
Empty.
There's candy all over the ring. There's candy all over the ring apron. And at the end of that, I even end up eating a piece of the candy off the apron. And how I am still alive after having done that, I have no idea.
That's yes, unquestionable choices. Like
Yeah.
that's definitely one of them.
Joey Eastman also ate a piece of candy off of that ring apron, and he's still alive. I don't know how that's possible. But again, you turned me down. You turned me down.
Yep.
I mean, look at me. How could you resist this?
I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry.
I tell you, I don't know.
Trust me, you don't want nothing to do with me. I'm fucking crazy. I'm nuts. Living with me would be a nightmare for you. You like certain things certain ways, and I'm kind of like a free spirit. We're totally opposite in that regard. I would irritate you so bad. I promise.
Well, I irritated the hell out of you too. So, you know, that was a two-way street. You know, but we continue with the angle. I end up at one point I call you out to the ring and I play I want you to want me.
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, that didn't work. I start running out of ideas. There's a tag team match between Bryce Benjamin and Chandler McClure, managed by me, against you and Ian. I demand that they do not touch you.
Yeah.
And I tell Ian that he needs to start the match because you were very tired after running through my mind all day. And, you know, that didn't work. During the match, you take a bad bump, and I come into the ring and try to save your life and give you CPR. And you tried to strangle me. You tried to choke me out in the middle of the ring.
I don't remember that.
It's on the playlist. I told you to watch this playlist to refresh your memory because we were going to be talking about this stuff, and it's on there. And I innocently come in and try to give mouth-to-mouth resuscitation when you were laying on the mat, and you grabbed me by the throat and started choking me. And
yeah, it might happen.
And I broke away. I
broke
away from the choke. I broke away from the chokehold, and that accidentally led you right into a flying lariat off the ropes, and then they hit you with the finisher, and you guys actually lose.
Yeah.
You guys actually lose the match. Total accident. Total accident.
No, it's your fault. It was your fault.
See, but that shows my managerial prowess. I could have got you. You lost. I won. See, I could have gotten you to the title quicker. But this leads to Chandler McClure against you.
Yep. That was a good match. I like that match.
Where if Chandler wins, I get your services for 30 days. So I steal the very idea of, you know,
the original.
Bull Payne got you for 30 days. So all I needed was 30 days. 30 days, and either by Stockholm syndrome or you just come into your senses, you'd have been mine. And I just needed these 30 days. But, you know, that asshole Chandler McClure lays down in the middle of the ring and pulls you on top of him and gets pinned to screw me over just because I constantly called him a loser and would smack him around and belittle him and pick on him and tell him he
You were
wasn't
really mean to him.
and tell him that he wasn't Fannin family material. For some reason, he turns on me. That
Yeah,
son
no
of a
idea why.
bitch. That son
No
of a
idea.
bitch. He
Doesn't make
turns on
sense.
me.
Doesn't make sense, bro.
It did not make any sense.
No
But
sense.
he turns on me. I don't get you for 30 days.
Well,
And as a matter of fact, I end up having to wear a skirt for the rest of the damn night.
you did. You did. You look pretty.
I
You were a pretty
I
princess.
I did look damn pretty in that. I have some good legs. But you know,
I want it.
Ian refused to let you join me no matter how much I begged and pleaded,
Yeah.
you know, and was like he should have gave me the 30 days. He should have gave me
It
the
would have.
30 days with you.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
but
what
who would do all this stuff?
what are your memories of the angle to this point that we're at?
My favorite memory is
Other than me driving you crazy with it. What
you
memories?
and BJ Whitmer singing.
Well, I'm getting to that one. I'm getting to that one. That's
Right.
that's the next one. So I guess
Okay.
I'll ask you the question after that.
Okay.
So this all leads to one last all-out ditch effort. I failed
The
at the
coup de
30
grace.
days. I failed at the 30 days. So what better way to cap this all off? BJ Whitmer and myself get in the ring. We put on the sunglasses and we recreate Top Gun. And we knocked it out of the park.
You did very well.
Singing "You Lost That Lovin' Feeling" to you.
I mean, BJ did forget some of the words, but you made up for it.
He did. He was lacking in his wingman skills that day. So
He wasn't being very goose.
So I sent him back to the commentary table.
Mm-hmm.
Sent him back to the commentary table. I proceed to then try to sing to you John Michael Montgomery's "I Can Love You Like That." Even changing the words and had it where, you were dreaming that one day your Prince Charming named Jim Fannin would come rescue you. And there I was, ready to go. And you laughed at me. You laughed at me.
Even to this day.
Just like you're doing right now. You laughed at me.
Sorry.
Heartbreaking.
I'm sorry.
So then I get on the mic and I tell everybody the reason that this has not worked to this point is because I'm using other people's words. So I had written you a poem and I read you that poem. And things began to happen, Mickey Knuckles. Things began to happen. I'm not going to play the clip because I'm not sure how it's going to turn out on the podcast, whether they're going to be able to really hear it very well. So you can go and watch this again on my YouTube channel, but I am going to read the poem that I read to you. So I'm very disappointed in myself before I start, ladies and gentlemen. This poem was very heartfelt. It was very in the moment, but I also had to make it fit into the parameters of what I was going for with this angle. So it had to be a little ridiculous. And I'm very disappointed in myself because in trying to remember this poem, BJ and Dave Prazak talk over it. So I've only got about 99% of the poem. And the ending I could not make out because BJ and Prazak are arguing over whether it's working or not. Okay. And so I could not quite make it out. But here is 99% of the shoot poem that I wrote for you. The first things I notice are your beautiful eyes. Your approving glance provides one of life's greatest highs. Who can't love your dimples when you smile? I can sit and daydream about them for quite a while. You are truly a beautiful woman in every way. Your hair, your body, even your freckles, I do say. But as a person, you are even better. Imagine how great the two of us could be together. You care and share and try to help others. You're the hardest working person this side of Tracy Smothers. And then I could not make out the grand finale. It's something about having no idea, you have no idea how difficult it is, something when realizing that we can never be more than friends. And somehow this poem, it did not get to you. If you go back and watch the video, though, it does start to get to the people.
Yeah.
The people in the crowd, there's some oohs and ahs and a lot of aww. And there was a hell of a lot of laughter on the hardest working person this side of Tracy Smothers. Even you popped for that one on the live read.
Yeah.
And
That's an honor.
you know, but the fans, and not all of them, but some of them actually, I think, wanted to see this happen. And they were like cheering for me and wanting to see this. And so I had to pull the plug immediately on this because I'm not letting that crowd turn me babyface. Fuck that shit.
That's where you draw the line.
That's where I draw the line. So I had to kill the angle. And that was the last night. We did one thing after that where I ended up interfering and clotheslining you and causing Rain to get a pinfall on you. But that ended it because I was like, I can't have this. My consolation prize for not winning you was Ian gave me JC Bailey instead.
There you go.
No, it's not there I go. To this day, that leaves a bad taste in my mouth. To this day, I still hate and wanted no part of that. Would not have agreed to it in any way, shape, or form. But there wasn't a whole lot of choice at that point. Chris Candido had passed the night before. We did the stuff with BJ and me singing the Top Gun recreation and doing the poem. I almost didn't even go through with doing the stuff that night. I remember talking with Axel and with Billy Gunn as to whether it would even be appropriate to do something like that. Ian was I think he was in Germany or something at that point. I know he wasn't in the country, so he wasn't at the show. Both Axel and Billy thought that it would be a good way to lighten the mood a little bit, get a few laughs. They thought that Chris would appreciate it and thought that he would have been the perfect one to, it should have been him out there in the sunglasses and singing with me. And then you would have been butter in my hands at that point. You never would have been able to.
Probably. Candido was suave.
So what is your memories of that angle? Or have you just tried to completely block that whole thing out of your mind and hope that it had never happened?
I remember not knowing like what direction I was supposed to go. I didn't know like how I was supposed to. I was pretty much just thrown out there with you. Everything was just ad lib. I think that's where the first bit of working actually came in. was learning like how to react to you, with you, like what story to like building something. But every interaction we've ever had, like the fans were into it, you were happy about the end of it, and that's what really taught me like what wrestling was supposed to be. It's an emotion, it's a feeling, it's some kind of interaction, it's a story. That's what wrestling is. It's a story. It's a fucking active, athletic, combative story. Like I don't know how else to explain it. But that's where I learned. I learned how to work.
Well, and the crowd tells you how you're supposed to react. Your heart tells you how you're supposed to react, and whatever and yeah, we wouldn't go over it. I'd just call you to the ring, and a lot of the times you wouldn't you would have no idea, and you just come
No
out,
clue. It's like,
and
yeah,
it's like however you wanted
it's
to react,
organic.
I would react off of that,
Yeah,
and
it's organic.
and I thought it was great stuff. I to this day I wish that we would have had TV at that point, and that
Yeah.
we really could have put it behind pushing it up, because we're traveling all over the damn place. The people in Valparaiso don't know what happened in Salem, don't know what happened in
This is
Scottsburg, don't
pre-internet
know,
explosion.
and so like a lot of it, the people had no idea the history, and didn't really know what was going on. I guess I should have like maybe talked to commentary so they knew what way to like try to push it instead of talking over it all the time, and
Yeah.
not knowing how, and
Know
arguing
your
on it.
spots,
Right. So
Yeah.
um that was like that was the high of highs, getting to work that with you, and going out there, and you know shooting my shot, if you will. And um I missed, and it happens, it's okay. um but then that's followed by, as I mentioned, the lowest of lows, because Chris had passed. And you were the one, you're at my house, and you were on the computer, and you're the one that saw the story and came and told me.
Yeah.
And we had hoped that it wasn't true. I ended up eventually getting a phone call from his brother, because I was in Chris's phone. And Chris had always called me JJ. He thought of the Fannin family as, this is the IWA version of the Horsemen. So he would call me JJ. And, his brother and Tammy thought that I actually was JJ Dillon. Because anytime he would talk, he'd be like, "Oh, I'm going to see JJ, going to hang out with JJ. JJ's getting me, and whatever." And so they thought I was JJ Dillon. So when his brother called me, he's like, "Is this JJ Dillon?" And I'm like, "No, Chris just called me that." But that was gut wrenching for me. What would you like to say about that time frame, and Chris, if anything?
Chris was just such a sweet guy. He was such a good soul. I remember one time I hadn't eaten all day, and he had a sandwich. And he knew I hadn't eaten all day because he's been with us all day. That's when we were going from one town to the other, and we would pick them up at a nearby airport, and then they would just travel with us. So this is right before we broke. Remember that hotel we broke down?
Yep.
Yeah. So it was like right
Like
around
was
there.
that, it was like Vincennes or Terre Haute, one
Mhm.
of those two.
So the day before, I hadn't eaten all day, and Chris gave me half of his sandwich, and he was like, "Here, you need to eat this." And I was like, "I'm fine." He's like, "No, no, no, you're gonna eat this." I was like, "Okay, I'll eat it." And he sat right there and watched me eat it, and was asking me questions and shit. And then the next, like when we stayed at the hotel, I slept on that floor, and he was like, "Here," and he gave me that pillow that he would put. Remember Tammy's picture? He
Yeah.
had a picture of Tammy that he had to have on the pillow next to him. Nobody was allowed to take that spot. That was Tammy's fucking spot. He was in love with her. But because I didn't have anything, he gave me that pillow and just like had the picture there, which I thought was really nice. But he kept that room
Yeah.
fucking freezing cold. It was cold as shit in there. He turned on the air conditioner in the fucking winter because he would take those thermonugenics or whatever that would make him really fucking hot and red.
Well, and
He
he
was
was
sweating
like,
fuck
he
all the
was so
time.
tanned. He was so tanned. So yeah, he ran hot. Like, yeah, the first thing he would do when he got into my car when I'd pick him up is he would crank the AC.
Yep.
And so like, yeah, we break down, the trailer gets like breaks an axle or something.
Mhm.
And like I said, it was somewhere around like Vincennes, Terre Haute, one of those places in southern Indiana. So we couldn't get anywhere, so we had to stop at this hotel, and there was so many of us, like Ian, Patty, Joey, John Calvin. They had their own room, and then it was me, you, I think it was like Big Sweaty Mike, Tommy Thompson, Nick Manawa, Manawa's girlfriend at the time, me, you, Candido, all crammed into one hotel room. And like Candido's got the bed to himself. I've got the bed to myself. I offered it to you. But you didn't want it. You didn't want it. So you're on the floor, freezing your ass off. And like say, Candido gives up his pillow. So Tammy had to sit on the nightstand that night. So you could have the pillow. Like everybody's freezing to death. There's not enough blankets for everybody that's on the floor.
Yep.
And we have to get up like at the crack of dawn to try to drive back to where the trailer is to try to get this thing fixed so we can make the next town. And
Yeah, it was actually before dawn. It was still dark out when we had to get up.
It was
It's
still
fucking cold.
And this is like middle of winter. It's middle of winter and cold as shit, still dark out, and everybody's freezing.
I remember
Tommy Thompson.
Ian's room got to sleep in. It was only certain people in our room had to get up and go do it.
Right.
And because in order to get the tire off the trailer, they had to release some of the load. Something was, I don't know. And so they had to unload some of the fucking shit on the side of the road so we can get this fucking tire off because I couldn't get it off. And then finally got it off. Didn't it need to just weld it or something? What the fuck was wrong with it?
I can't remember, but the part I remember is that like everybody's like, do we dare adjust the heat? Can we turn up the heat so we're not freezing? And
we value our lives that much.
so they turn up the heat, but then the dumbasses forget to turn it back down when we leave.
Yeah. And
So
Candido wakes up in a puddle of sweat.
So then when we come back, Candido is like awake in a pile of sweat, and he's like, if you've ever seen the promo from the 2004 Ted Petty, where he comes back and we're like in the kitchen area doing a promo with Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Yeah.
And he's like laying on the floor and he's just screaming and he's like, you know, I'm back, Jack, or whatever it was that he was screaming, and he's just carrying it. Like, that was the emotion and how animated he was when we came back into that room. And he's like, who the fuck turned on the heat? Who the fuck turned on the heat? And everybody just immediately pointed to Tommy Thompson. It was him. It was
that motherfucker right there.
That one right there fucking did it. And
nope. It wasn't me, sir. Anyway.
Definitely wasn't any of us. It was that son of a bitch right there.
Because because eventually he said he was gonna do it. I was like, don't do it. He's like, I got to. I was like, dude, I don't think you should do it. Nope. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep. It's on you.
Yeah.
I remember going to the tire place though and being fucking exhausted and cold. Yeah. Good times.
Good times, as IWA always was.
Adventure.
You know, and at this point, I was done with IWA. I was done with everything. I did not want to be around it. The failing with you got to me. Losing Candido got to me. So I was serious about wanting to retire at the end of War Games. And when I lose, you know, for all intent and purposes, I was done. I had checked out. But then, you know, something bad happens, something good ends up happening. And Patty tells us that she's pregnant and with James Christopher, and you know, we're gonna be the godparents. They were gonna name him, you know, after me and then after Chris, since Chris had just passed. So the way I look at it, I did not win you over when I tried to woo you, but we do have a kid together with James Christopher. So we do have that. I do have that going for me. But of course, in true IWA fashion, you can't have the good without having bad. And, you know, James Christopher has all the medical issues, needs all the heart surgeries, pretty much from the moment he's, you know, the day after he's born, you know, has to have all these surgeries. And just everything at that point just fell apart, I think. Not James Christopher's fault. Don't listen to that statement, people, and think I'm saying that.
No.
But it just, everything started to spiral at that point. Like I said, I was wanting out because of all the show cancellations around that time. That leads to Jimmy Jacobs getting mad about canceled bookings and not having money. So we end up with the title belt incident that drags me back in. And, you know, as Mickie pointed out earlier, if I wasn't about to take shit from Atomic Dog or New Jack, I sure as fuck was not about to take shit from, you know, Jimmy Jacobs or Danny Daniels or anything else. So I damn near killed Jimmy Jacobs in the ring with the barbed wire bat to send a message to everybody that would ever consider going and taking money along those lines to trash IWA. It drags me, you know, it's like The Godfather, and I am wearing the Jim Father t-shirt that James Christopher designed for me. Every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in. And so because of this shit going on with Jimmy Jacobs, it pulls me back in. I go away. Jimmy Jacobs goes away after the barbed wire bat incident. And things just, they were just never the same after that. Incredible run of shitty things for you. I don't know how in depth you want to get into this. Again, it is all in your book. It is all in your book that is available on Amazon. The fans can go and buy that. But you know, there's the eventual move to Joliet. There's Mike Levy, there's breaking your leg, there's everything else. And, you know, mostly my apologies though, because I was a horrible friend at this point, because like I said, I had checked out, wanted to be anywhere else on the face of the earth, other than at IWA shows. I was looking through results on Cage Match, and like seriously, 2000, after I was good up until like we did the bad motherfuckers angle at TPI 2006. I'd pretty much been away all of 2006. The barbed wire bat shot on Jimmy was in like January. And I was pretty much done until we both came back at TPI in September of that year. We did the bad motherfuckers angle, but those guys kept getting fired every show they came to because they would push Ian's buttons, and that fell apart. And that really should have been the end of it for me at that point. I ended up sticking around until 2009, but going through and watching, reading the results and stuff, I don't have memories of like any of it. So at this point, it's going to have to be like you lead the way as to what you want to talk about from this stuff, for that time frame, because like I said, I had failed you and left you on your own to deal with the shit. And so I don't know how much you want to, they say, how much you want to get into with you had just done a podcast before mine earlier tonight.
We didn't get.
You said you had talked in, the TNA stuff. So I don't, this is all around this time. You get the opportunity to go work TNA. But then, like say, like just boom, boom, boom. There was the Mike Levy incident. You break your leg. TNA goes away. Like, what do you want to talk about as far as those things?
I feel like hindsight being 2020, with the TNA thing and the breaking the leg and everything, like the Mike Levy thing, that wasn't an issue for them. Jared had talked to me about that and told me that he had watched it, and no portion of the match that I did.
It wasn't something on you, but it was definitely a black mark on IWA.
Yeah. He had told me that I did, like I met equal with equal. When he punched me in the face, I punched him in the face. That was it. I had no problem with anything. I had, if you remember, I had other matches, like several other matches that day to do, and then we had to get ready for King of the Death that night. So it was like my card was full. Like I have a strict time. Like I don't have time to deal with this shit. Like I do what I need to do and then I move on. Because if I didn't do everything I needed to do, as well as anybody else, the fucking retaliation from the other end would be horrendous. The hazing would be fucking atrocious. But I think, with hindsight and everything, it was probably the best thing that could happen. Because I was in a bad situation. I was being used. I'm a pretty loyal person, just like you. Like if we tell you you're our friend, we're loyal to the end. We'll do anything we can for you. Like I'd give you the clothing off my back. I'd give you my blood. I'd give you anything I could. And to work so hard and believe in something so big as IWA, because we were truly led to believe it was something bigger than us. It was a faction. It was a unit. It was a family of sorts. And that's the fucking red flag word there is family. And, I think Pondo said it best, that he's a lot like Charles Manson of wrestling. He knows what you need, and he has the ability to break it down and make you feel like he breaks you down, and then in rebuilding you, you're built on independent on his perception of things, and this entity that he is telling you that exists and is there, but to him it's just this game, it's this pawn, this carny work. And I don't know, I was in a really bad spot, and I was not going to leave. I was determined to stick it out because I'm so fucking stubborn with everything. I want to prove, and I want to be worthy enough to be accepted in all this. And I was gonna eat as much shit as I had to eat because I thought that's what I was worthy of, and that's what I had to do. And I think if after the leg break, they did the surgery. And if you remember correctly, I went back and they told me in September, November that year that um, my leg was healed. I can go back to trying to do in-ring work again. I went back to that hospital in Joliet, and I kept trying. I couldn't run, and I couldn't jump, and I couldn't lift my leg to the side. And I was doing these matches because they told me I could, and going through the motions. And the next thing you know, I keep going back every month, and they accused me of everything from, they said it was phantom pains and muscle memory and everything else, to because of a traumatic experience, to I was just a pill addict trying to get pills. But we both know I wasn't the one taking my pain pills. I didn't have my pain pills. We know who took my pain pills. Like, so why would I want pain pills? I wanted to know what was wrong with my leg. And then when I went back and I got a new doctor, and they told me, like, I went back in April the following year, and finally they did another x-ray and said that they pulled up the original x-rays. And in the x-rays, they can see that there's an 1.5 inch gap between the two pieces of bone, that it never healed. And the rod's the only thing holding my leg in place. And I had to have a second surgery. But because it wasn't deemed life or death, it was technically cosmetic, I had to have FASPA approve certain portions of it, and they couldn't do it.
Right. I remember that portion of things, and it was, like I say, it was a horrible time, and I know exactly what you mean with the loyalty thing. That was the only reason why I was still there till 2009, and
I mean,
you
Jim,
know,
they introduced me to people as their kid. I didn't have that family growing up, and they knew that. And I was put in a really bad spot with a lot of things that was going on, because I knew the ins and outs, the goods and the bads, just like you, just like all of us. And then we're put in that spot of, what do we do with this information? Like how do we navigate this where everybody is taken care of, and you're not put in the middle of a shit show, because it's already a shit show. So if it got to be a worse fucking shit show, it'd be a bad shit show. And it was almost to the point of almost killed myself. And I allowed it to get to that point.
yeah,
So,
it's hard stuff to talk about, and I'm not going to press you on it. It's all in your book. I keep telling
but
people,
I think my
just read
leg
it, and you
didn't
can.
heal. I really think my leg didn't heal because I was where I was not supposed to be. I think something somewhere was like, all right, you obviously can't read the obvious signs, so let's make it fucking more obvious. Like, they said they couldn't understand why my leg didn't heal the first go round. That they didn't understand I was healthy and young, that it should have healed, quickly, and this, that, the other. And, now I've got a leg that's 1.5 inches shorter than the other. And I'm not technically supposed to be walking around without a walker or a cane. What do doctors know? But I think I was where I wasn't supposed to be. That's why I didn't heal. I think my stress levels were so bad because as soon as I left and had the second surgery and went back to my sister's, even in that environment, it was more tolerable. It wasn't as stressful as being where I was. And I healed in like 2 months. They were like, doesn't make fucking sense. Well, maybe that's because my body, my fucking soul was trying to tell me this is not the path for me. There's other ways for me to do this. I don't have to be this glutton for punishment. So I think breaking my leg was the best thing. Because think about it, Jim. If I would have went to TNA, you know that about that TNA contract. He was trying to negotiate, so he got out with certain concessions. We both know this. He
Right.
wanted to become brought to the shows, flown to the shows too, and put up. He wanted the checks to be written directly to him, like sent directly to him, and they were fighting that. And all I knew was to get on the plane and go to the show because nothing was being done through me. I didn't have any like conversation with anybody about all this. He did. And so I didn't sign that contract. And then when I hadn't signed it because they were still negotiating, and then I broke my femur. And I didn't even want to do that dive either. That broke my femur. I remember being like, I don't dive. I don't like heights. I don't dive. Like it's not my thing.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
dive.
not your thing. Not your thing at all.
I don't like it. You know, I try not to do it. And remember, I was supposed to dive off the stage, and then right before mine and Sarah's match, Egotistico Fantastico was wrestling, and he dove off the stage. And Ian came back there, was like, "Well, now you gotta dive off the raise because there was like a concrete, you know, those little fucking thing,
Right.
the wall." And he wanted me to get up on top of the wall and jump off the stage. I'm a short shit. God made me short for a fucking reason. I don't want to get up on a top ass stage that like is like on this fucking auditorium and shit and jump on this girl that I'm trying to be friends with and I'm much bigger than. So I know if I land on her, I'm gonna fucking hurt her and I don't want to hurt her. So I try to put my legs down and perfect storm just snapped my femur. But I didn't want to do that dive. But I still did it. So that was a lesson learned. If you don't feel comfortable, do it. Don't fucking do it.
Right. That is an important thing for young wrestlers out there. Don't feel pressured into doing stuff you're not comfortable with, because it's your health, it's your body, it's your life, and it's not worth risking that. And I'm not gonna make you go through the graphic details again that you have in your book. People can support Mickie, buy the book, and you'll get the whole story. You see the same things I can see with how emotional, gut wrenching some of this stuff is. You know, and people know the stories. The stories are out there; they've been told. You know, so we don't have to get into the nittiest and grittiest of all of it. So I'm gonna do just a few, like, what are your thoughts on these people that we didn't really get to in the podcast? But I know a lot of them have been very influential in your career after I had left IWA and the great heights that you've gotten to. So I know before we get to that part of it, just go over with the folks. Like, I know you've done Germany, you've done England, and you've done Japan and Australia.
In Scotland, in
Scotland.
Canada,
Yeah.
and Mexico.
Okay, so those are the foreign countries.
Yeah.
All of them
Scotland, Canada, Mexico, England, Germany, and Australia. And I'm hoping to add more coming up here in May and June because I'll be doing another tour over in Europe.
Okay, and I know you got a return to Japan coming up in just a couple of weeks, right? You're going to ring in the new year in Japan.
Yeah, I did it last year for BJW's King of the Death Match World Grand Prix. So this year it's a tag team tournament, and me and Beastman are tagging, and our tag name is Booty and the Beast. Adorable.
Who's got the booty?
Both of us. That's the question. Who's the beast and who's the booty? Both of us.
Okay.
We could be. Both could be true.
So that is one of the themes of this podcast tonight. Two different things can be true at the same time. So we'll finish up with the name and thoughts on it. So I'll start with Madman Pondo.
I've known Pondo for years. Like, damn, since 17, 18 years old. I even lived with them. So, uh, Pondo's funny. He's one of those guys. I think he's a hopeless romantic, honestly, deep down. But like, I don't know. He has a certain defensive side to him. He like has a funny sense of humor where like he turns it around and kind of builds a wall. But Pondo's, I don't know. Pondo's always been good to me. Um, think yeah, he's back at JCW now. So
Are you going to be back?
I go where I want to go.
You go where you want to go. Take
Yeah.
that how you want. Two things can be true.
You think it can't be true?
Two things can be true. So another one that is pretty much in that same little click, if you will. Too Tough Tony.
I've never wanted to punch somebody in their fat head more than I do Tony sometimes. He gets on my nerves. But that's our love-hate
What
relationship.
about me?
What?
What
You wait,
about
fuck
me?
here? What? What about you?
You want to punch Tony in the head more than you want to punch me in the head.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm gonna tell you why. He's a smart ass bitch. Like, he knows. He knows. Anyway,
Well, then what the hell am I?
you're not a smart ass bitch. You should be happy you're not a smart ass bitch. Who
Okay.
wants to be a smart ass bitch? Who seeks out the day going, you know what, today? I want to be that smart ass bitch. Makes no sense.
I wake up with that as my goal for the day.
Explains a lot, Jim.
It does.
Explains a lot.
It does.
Who's the next
Um,
person?
Well, it's going to be a question, and this will be your way of getting to mention whoever you want to mention.
Okay.
Who was your favorite guy to do death matches against? And it doesn't have to be from the IWA days. It could be, you.
Eric Ryan and Bobby Beverly tie for probably two of the easiest, like funnest deathmatch people I've been in the ring with. It's like butter working with them. Like it's exactly what it needs to be. Does that make sense? Like it's just a fluid fucking dance with them. God, there's so many though. Like there's a couple of matchups that I know if I get this year that will truly be probably contender for my favorite. And I'm gonna see if I can get them. I'm gonna keep advertising and trying to like try, I don't know. But there's a couple people I want to wrestle that I feel like I can have a really good match. And I really want to wrestle Necro right now. I don't know. I feel like the match with Necro could be something special. Just because of the history there and nostalgia. I've known Necro since I was 17 years old. So Necro's always been my friend. Yeah.
Okay. Who was your favorite female to wrestle? It could be deathmatch, regular.
Lufisto.
Lufisto.
Lufisto was definitely one. Daisy was a fun one to work with. Rain. I liked working with Rain, but only because she would tell me I'd headbutt her in the middle of the match. She's like, "What the fuck, Mickie?" But she was always down to do anything crazy. I wrestled a girl named Wesna. I had the flu real bad. She beat my ass though, but I really liked that match. I hurt way worse on the airplane ride back, and that was when I went to Germany and wrestled her. So
Okay, and what was her name?
Wesna.
And did you just wrestle the one time, or?
Yeah. They just flew me over for the one match.
Now here's where it could get interesting.
Okay.
Your least favorite people to wrestle.
There's a girl named Anthrax. You remember Anthrax?
And for some reason you had to wrestle her, and that was like in the time frame where like I was at the shows but checked out. I couldn't tell you.
It's a rough time for everybody.
And I just remember, and I don't even know if I should tell the story. My only real memory of Anthrax involves Mitch Ryder and her hooking up with Mitch Ryder like 2 days after he got out of prison, at the show. And
Oh my god, I don't know about that. That's funny.
But yeah, those were, if memory serves, those were not the greatest of matches. Anybody besides her?
Trying to think. In the beginning, me and Sarah Del Rey had really bad matches, but Sarah was a meticulous person. Like, bop, bop, bop. Like, she had to have certain things certain ways. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, everything was dictated, directed. You knew exactly. My brain doesn't work. I don't have a good memory. I've never had a good memory. So for me to try to remember a lot of things is not going to happen. And I'm gonna be like a deer in the headlights and just get lost with it. And for the first 2 or 3 matches we had, it was so fucking bad. I would get my ass ripped by Ian saying that I should be a better at wrestling her because it's supposed to be like billed as Chris Hero's student versus Brian Danielson's student, right? And finally, I had to tell her, I was like, look, can we please just try it my way? Please, just one time. I'll take the rap if it's bad. I'm already getting my ass chewed all the time and getting hazed for it. Like, I just let's just try it one time. And it was like a whole new fucking world that opened up. Like, everything went a lot better. There was like maybe a couple issues, but for the most part, it was what it should be, and it built on a fucking feud. And so, in the beginning, I didn't like working with Del Rey, and it was just I couldn't do the same things that she did, and we were both so young and so new into it. We needed to learn how to adapt to each other. So,
Well, and it's funny that you mentioned that, because that's one of the matches that I'm most disappointed that was like spoken about and was going to happen and then never happened. Was, it was supposed to be American Dragon and Sarah Del Rey against you and Ian, and I was going to manage Del Rey and Dragon at that point. And I'm pretty sure it was I'll get you next time, kid, kind of thing that,
hot dog and a handshake.
on the show to set it up, that led to them not coming back and that matchup never happening. So it was a missed opportunity for me to work with them. But if it wasn't one of your favorite, if it was made it into your least favorite list of opponents, then it was probably another one
Just
of
in the
those.
beginning, like I said, when we adapted and switched things up, everything is so much better. It was just in the beginning because we just butted heads on ideas or how to proceed. We worked it out though.
And we can finish up. I'll let you talk about Tracy Smothers.
My favorite subject. What do you want to talk about, Tracy?
It's whatever you want to say about him. I mean, there is, I understand there is 50-50 odds that he could be your daddy.
No, he thinks he slept with my mom. Oh, Okay, so you know how Tracy was on car trips. He always had me drive, but he would be in the passenger seat and just talk because he believed that's what a passenger should do, just keep the driver awake. And if he wasn't talking, he fell asleep mid-sentence. But as soon as he woke up, he was right back on the subject that he would stop talking about. Like it was
What a,
fucking
what a novel concept for the passenger in the car to stay awake, to help the driver stay awake. That, are you sure about that?
yeah, I'm positive.
That's allowed to happen.
That's supposed to happen, apparently. Allegedly, this is what I have been taught now by the great Tracy Smothers. That's their job. All this time I thought, though they get to sleep, while I get to drive. But no, sir. Anyways, so we were going through the West Virginia mountains. It's just me and him. He goes, Mickey Knuckles, all these years I've known you, you've never talked about your family. I'm like, okay, Tracy, what do you want to know? He said, tell me about your mom. I said she was a strict Catholic woman. She was a single mom of 3, worked on an ambulance, so she worked a lot of doubles, didn't see her a whole lot. And then when she got sick, she got meaner, and then she died when I was 13 from stomach cancer. He's like, oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Tell me about your dad. I said, my dad's a piece of shit. Hope he gets a venereal disease, his dick rots and falls off, and he dies the most horrible death ever. He's like, okay, back to your mama. I was like, all right. Driving along, he's asking me questions, asking me about her personality, asking me what she was into. And then he said, do you happen to have a picture of her? Mind you, my mom died when I was 13. I am now at this time probably 24, 25, maybe. I don't know. And I'm like pulling up my sister's Facebook, and I pull up an old picture of her and show her to Tracy. It's a picture taken back in the 80s. He gets quiet for 20 fucking minutes. And it's not like him. And he's not asleep because his head's not like down like it normally is. He's staring out the window. And so I keep like trying to check on him while I'm going through the mountains, praying to God this man didn't have a heart attack or something in this passenger seat right along the West Virginia mountains with me, because I would be fucking devastated at this moment. I don't know how I would react. So I'm freaking out and I'm like checking on him, but I don't want to disturb him because maybe he's deep in thought and I don't want to be that fucking person. So I keep driving, and about 20 minutes later, he starts out of nowhere. He goes, Mickey Knuckles. It was June 1989. The Steiner brothers down the street, the KFC buffet, tearing it up. Your mama's best friend was in the back room getting on with another wrestler, and me and your mama was watching a movie. And I was like, no, Tracy. No. No, I'm going to tell you right now, no, there's no way. My mama didn't like wrestling at all. She fucking loathed it. No. He's like, Mickey Knuckles, telling 1989, Steiner brothers down the street, tearing up the KFC buffet. Your mom's friend in the back room getting on with another wrestler. Me and your mama was watching a scary movie. I was like, all right, Tracy. He goes, I got to go to the bathroom. Your mama gets up as I'm coming out, and she hooks me by the arm and drags me to the bathroom. Now I'm praying to God the man just censors it. And I'm like, Tracy, stop. Okay? There's no way. It's just not possible. He's like, Mickey Knuckles telling you, June 1989, Steiner Brothers down the street, carrying up the KFC buffet. Your mom's best friend in the back room getting on with another wrestler. Your mom, me in the bathroom. Mickey Knuckles, your mom went down on me. And I'm like, oh my God, Tracy, for the love of God, my mama's dead. Like, I can't even ask her, okay? No, this never happened. It's not possible. He's like, I'm telling you, Mickey Knuckles. I remember, I'm telling you, details, 1989. Like, he goes through it again. Steiner Brothers, down the street, KFC buffet. And when they had that good chicken, your mom's just friend in the back room getting it on with another wrestler. Your mom's giving me a blowjob. And I was like, all right, Tracy, whatever. I think it's over. He stops for a second. He's like, then Mickey Knuckles. She took me in the back room. That was the best 30 seconds of my life. And I was almost legit your stepdaddy. And I went, oh my God, Tracy, stop. He was like, no, Mickey Knuckles, I'm telling you, June 1989. Steiner down the street, carrot KFC buffet. Your mom's just friend getting on, with another wrestler in the back bedroom. He's like, and your mom is giving me the best time of my life. And I'm like, shut up, Tracy. Just shut the fuck up, right? It doesn't end there, Jim. He picks up the phone and he calls somebody, and he's got one of those old ass flip phones, right? Because he didn't like upgrading things. Like, technology was not Tracy's strong suit. So he flips over this phone and he presses a speed dial number, and you hear the numbers down because he's got it on speaker because we're old and we can't hear out of that speakerphone. And he plays it over, and it's fucking, all I hear is, Tracy Southers, how you doing, brother? And it's fucking Bull Payne. And he goes, Bull, hey, I just figured it out. I was almost legit Mickey Knuckles' stepdaddy for real. And Bull's like, what are you talking about? Blah, blah, blah. So Tracy tells the whole story again. June 1989. Steiner Brothers down the street tearing up the KFC buffet. My mom's best friend getting it on with the guy in the back bedroom. Another wrestler. And then him and my mom getting it on in the bathroom and the bedroom, you know? Tells this whole story. And I'm shaking my head. And it's so quiet for half a second. And the Bull starts cackling. Because at that very moment, he advises he is currently laying in bed with my mother-in-law at that very moment, naked. And they had just got done fucking. And I went, I'm done. I can't do this no more. I'm done with this. This is fucking bullshit, right? We're done. We're not talking about this. So Tracy hangs up, right? I think I escaped this, but no. Years later, I'm in Philadelphia with Tracy and Bull. I don't know why we're all there, but we're all fucking there. And I go to walk past the room, and they're doing an interview, like some kind of fucking like shoot interview thing. And they both called me in and put a chair between them, like it's some fucking cuckolding video. And I was sitting in between them as they're retelling this story. Both Tracy and Bull Payne talking about how one has fucked my mother, and the other one was fucking my ex mother-in-law.
Well, one of them was basically your
One was
father.
true.
One was your father-in-law, and the other was your stepfather. It's true. Two things can be true.
I understand, but I'm telling you, my mom despised wrestling, despised it. And in June 1989, my sister was born June 6th. I highly doubt my mom popped this fucking big-headed baby out of her vagina and like start hooking up with a wrestler. It was the best time of his life. I fucking doubt it. Like that's not possible.
I don't doubt it at all. And,
I do.
And here's the kicker to that. The reason that your mama hates wrestling so much is how heartbroken she was when Tracy Smothers left.
Oh dear God. No. But he tried to find logic and everything. He wanted like a 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon with everybody somehow, some way they were all connected. That's how Tracy was. He tried to find the work in life.
And your degree of separation was one.
Yeah, just one.
Just one.
My mom.
Just one. Your mom. And Bull Payne, just one. Your ex mother-in-law. So,
Small world.
It's a very small world. It is a very small world, and crazy things happen. I know we jumped around a lot. We skipped over a lot.
We do that.
But we do that, and it's been a blast getting to catch up with you tonight.
Thank you.
Actually tracking you down and getting you to show up.
Dude, I'm busy. I'm tired.
It is.
I've been driving around the world.
It's an hour and a half past my bedtime, so
Well, we did it. I was here.
You did it. You showed up. We got this, and I'd like to thank you for that. Meant what I said at the beginning of this podcast. I got to, if I was to ever make a comeback, it's to manage you and get you officially into the Fannin family. The website went out of business that was selling the t-shirts, so I can't get you added to the back of the t-shirt and sell it unless we find a new
maybe
website to put it on.
Get me a couple of matches that I want.
Well, I had tried to get you against that Willow person when they were doing that, when Warrior Wrestling was doing their open challenge on Twitter or whatever, and you were already booked on that date, so it didn't really make much sense for me to challenge. I challenged for a future date, and they didn't accept. So the way I look at it, Willow is afraid of you. I don't even know who Willow. I don't even know who that really is. Never seen her before, but I saw that opportunity to manage you on a show that in the town I live in. So I went for it, but they ignored it. Before we sign off here, going to let you hype your stuff. You got a Patreon. How can people join you on Patreon?
So Patreon, type in my name, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I just know I put things on there.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. And there was a tease that there was like going to be these fancy pictures.
Oh, they're producing them or doing. I don't know. I'm waiting for them to get it back to me. It's not. I didn't take the pictures. Leah Grace did.
Okay. Well, thank her. I'm sure they're going to turn out to be fantastic.
She's doing a whole. They're doing some kind of whole docu series or whatever, and I'm a part of it. I had to read a couple excerpts from the book. I did something called Scar Tours at their show. It was a live show, but basically because I used it to call out some motherfuckers that can't keep my name out of their mouths, but they don't want to fight me. So I find that in bad taste.
Why did you call me out?
Not you.
Well, I say your name all the time, and I don't want to fight you.
You're not saying my name disrespectfully. You're not telling people you don't like me because I'm quote unquote a whore.
Okay.
When the truth of the matter is, I just won't be a whore for them.
Okay. That makes some sense then. So you got the Patreon, ladies and gentlemen. You can go to Patreon, I guess, .com, search Mickie Knuckles and sign up for her Patreon. There's
There's a book.
The book on Amazon. Once again, search Mickie Knuckles.
Wrestling's Most Dangerous Woman. Don't get the AI versions. I don't know what those other ones are. Those have nothing to do with me. So
okay.
I think the AI.
Do you have any idea how many copies of the book have been sold? No. Are you actually are you actually getting money off of it though? Have you seen money? You have seen money off of it. So I don't want to tell people to go buy this book and you're not getting anything off of it.
Yes, I'm getting money off of it.
Okay, so go buy the book. It is. I hate to read books. My attention span wanders and makes it difficult for me. Ever since Balls Pony hit me with that chair shot, my concentration and focus isn't the greatest when trying to read a book. So it's a little hard for me, but I made it through your book. And
that's good.
It was like a day and a half, I think it took me to read the whole thing.
That's not bad at all.
And then I immediately reached out to you and yelled at you about some of the things that I had read in there.
I'm very honest.
Well, you sometimes honest to a fault.
Yes.
You know,
But here's the thing. At the end of the day, no matter what you hear about me, if you didn't hear it from me, it ain't true. Because I'll tell you everything about me. I don't give a fuck.
Well, one of these days, I'll be able to get over you picking JC Bailey over me. But you know, it's going to take me a while. It's going to take me a while.
It was.
That was
we were both young and really fucking drunk. You stop it. I forgot I put that in there.
It's gonna. Well, you could have left that part out. You could have left that part out.
I could have. I forgot I put it in.
Could have left that part out.
There's apparently a lot of things I forgot to put in. So, it's all true.
Buy the book. It's very interesting. We gave a spoiler about one of the things that Mickie Knuckles did, or one of the people Mickie Knuckles did at that point.
I'm a selective slut, Jim. Sorry.
Not me, but JC Bailey. So, you know.
We were really young.
What,
really young. We were babies.
Doesn't make it any better.
Yes, it does. We were young and dumb.
I knew you when you were young and dumb.
I got tired of being accused of stuff. If I was going to get accused and get punished for it repetitively, why not just do it?
Exactly. Why not just do it?
You weren't there, bro. Sorry.
I was around. I was around.
You never drink with those. You never drink with those.
Well, no, but I was around.
You.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen,
blaming on the alcohol.
This wraps up another edition of Fannin's Flashbacks. I'd like to thank Mickie for joining me today. Join her Patreon, buy her book on Amazon. I guess just go to those places and search Mickie Knuckles because she does not know the links. You can follow her on Facebook and Instagram. I have been told that she deactivated her Twitter account. So
Yes.
don't be sending her messages to Bloody Mickie on Twitter. They're not going to get responded to.
Yeah.
Here I was thinking I was getting ghosted.
No, I just lost faith in Twitter. I was like, no, I don't want a part of this.
I don't blame you on that one, but
Not even worth knowing. Ignorance is bliss. Fuck it.
but you can follow Mickie on Facebook and Instagram. Are you on TikTok?
No.
Not on TikTok. Not on Snapchat.
Nope.
Not on Snapchat. So Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, Amazon. Buy the book. Buy the book. Follow my YouTube channel. Again,
Yes.
youtube.com/sportsfannin. Go watch those videos in the wooing of Mickey Knuckles so you could see the heartbreak on my face as I constantly got rejected and laughed at. You got to see some of it right here tonight when she did the same exact thing to me as we were watching it and going over it tonight.
Oh.
But click that like button, hit subscribe, youtube.com/sportsfannin. And if you are interested in vintage IWA Mid-South t-shirts, give our godson, James Christopher, a follow on Twitter at Candido24K_, Candido24K_. And he's got a bunch of tweets up there with his website where he's selling the IWA vintage t-shirts. And he designed this Fannin family t-shirt with the Gym Father. He designed all my t-shirts that used to be available, no longer available because the website collapsed. But if you got design work that you want done for yourself, shoot James Christopher a DM. And you can follow me on Twitter at jfannin73 and on Instagram at IWAFannin73. And we'll see you next time on the next episode of Fannin's Flashbacks. So let it be written. So let it be done. Good day.